Erick All. Great transition. Erick All. I think Erick All is a LeBron. I think he's a LeBron. We'll figure it out, but a big LeBron fan.
Good.
Oh, I was like, how are we finishing that sentence?
No, I think he's a bit, but most of that generation, it makes sense. Anyways, Erick All is healthy. He was participating in the offseason program. He missed all of last year with the ACL. And this promo that the Bengals posted last week during Media Day got fans' attention. There was plenty of social media discussion because Erick All featured with Joe Burrow. Look at, All Jr. You see all
front and
the
center.
83. So that's him and Mike Gesicki back there at tight end. You got P. Ryan Brown, T. Jamar back to front. Does this matter, Jacob Tissot, because Erick All healthy and Erick All, there he is to the left of Joe Burrow?
Sure, it matters. At the very least, to me, it leads me to believe it's the second tight end right now on the roster. I mean, looking at the top 2 running backs, top 2 receivers, top 2 tight ends, I think that's a reasonable assumption to make. And I'm excited about Erick All. I was excited about him when they made the draft pick. I think he's certainly working back to being healthy now. And we talked a little bit a couple weeks ago about his ceiling and some stat projections for this season. And I think he can be a crucial piece to this offense and really open up a door that the Bengals haven't had over the last few years of a do-it-all tight end. They have a great blocking tight end in Drew Sample. They have a great receiving tight end in Mike Gesicki. Erick All can do both at a really high level, and I think he can provide something to this offense, and I hope it's something. I hope he's a key piece of this Bengals offense this year.
No, I completely agree. I'm a little confused why everyone was making such a big deal about this over social media.
What do you mean? He's out. He's front and center.
I understand he's healthy. I think it's a given he's like tight end 2 and he's out there. Given the fact that your sample is not a catching tight end, and you're highlighting your receivers on that. I was just really confused.
I'm in. Clip that, Kate. That's thumbnail worthy here on YouTube. It's a given. Erick All, tight end. Drew Sample played the most tight end snaps for the Bengals last year.
Tight end 2 when it comes to a pass catching tight end.
Okay.
You have Gesicki, and then I think you have All.
Interesting.
I think All will have the second most targets and receptions, maybe more than Gesicki, actually.
Here's my thought here, and it's like threefold. And even before the show started, when was this? This was this offseason. I tweeted about Erick All, like, they can't bank on him being healthy. And we had a nice back and forth, and we joke about it now in the locker room because people thought we were mad at each other, and we weren't. But the point is, the beauty of social media, if Erick All is healthy, there's no denying what he can bring to this offense, to both of your points. The health is a huge factor. They couldn't bank on his health. And I still don't think they are banking on his health, which is partially why they were really ecstatic to get Jack Endries in the 7th round. Early returns on him are good, by the way, talking to multiple people in the building, which is exciting when it comes to this tight end room. But, yeah, I don't know if this promo video means anything, right? But Erick All being on the practice field does matter. Zach Taylor calling Erick All physical matters a ton. The fact that a couple of years ago, yesterday we were talking about joint practices, a couple of years ago during the joint practice against the Colts, one of the first things that Erick All said to me when we talked one-on-one was how much he loves blocking over pass catching. By the way, he's a really good pass catcher. Means he's going to get better and better as a blocker. I think they were on their way to unlocking a new layer of this offense in 2024 when he got hurt. He gets hurt as a rookie. He was starting to come on as a pass catcher, and they were starting to trust him as a blocker and this move blocker that could do a little bit of everything, do it all, pun intended. Can he pick up where he left off? If so, that's going to matter for this offense. I think that their offense expands some. And part of that does have to do with a guy like Jack Endries who can learn behind All, because right now it's Mike Gesicki, Tanner Hudson, Drew Sample, and you have those guys, and they're very role-based. And you need to find a way to get a guy who can do a mixture of both. And I think Erick All is that guy. We'll see. But I do believe that this means something strictly because he was on the practice field. He was healthy enough to do that. And if he's doing that and excited about where he is health-wise, well, then why wouldn't he matter for this team?
Yeah, step one for any of these players getting on the field is just to be in the mix. And I think that's the exciting thing about seeing that, because to your point there, I think everyone hopes that Erick All is the tight end 2 on this team if he's healthy and productive at this point, because his ceiling is so high compared to a lot of the other players on this roster. But I don't think I would have been shocked if it was Drew Sample in a video like that in the middle of the offseason, since he was, the high reps guy, has been here for a long time, has been the tight end too for multiple years. So I think just the fact that he is already seizing that role early in the offseason, at least from a social media perspective, I think does mean something. And it is exciting that he is back on the field, having good practices, showing what he needs to show to be in that mix. And I, again, just think that's a level of this Bengals offense that they haven't tapped into yet. And there's not a lot of that left to tap into on the Bengals side of things. Offensively, Chase Brown has been great since he's gotten here. Obviously, the receivers are great. You retain the O-line this year, and then the next step would be that do-it-all tight end. And I think Erick can provide that, certainly in this offense. And to see him healthy and performing early in the offseason is really, really great.
No, absolutely. And that's where, too, a healthy Erick All, I would imagine, is going to eat into some of the snap count and the high snap count that we've seen out of Drew Sample over the last years. He hasn't played below 42% of the offensive snaps when he's played a full season for the Bengals. But to the point of Drew Sample is just not a huge, pass catching threat in the tight end room. That's why I'm not overly reading into, this like social media video a ton that it's Erick All, because you think about Erick All, you think that, yeah, he is more of a pass catching threat, because also the Bengals decided to go with 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, and 2 running backs in this video. They could have put Andre Iosivas in there or some of the other receivers, but they decided to do 2 per position.
Yeah. Little surprised they didn't just go with Sample. Well, Sample might have just been busy, right? Like, it doesn't, who knows? Like, he literally might have been doing another promo, and they're like, all right, well, so he might have been doing a radio interview. You never know what he was doing, but like it might come down to that, or his time didn't line up with everybody else's time, and Joe's there, and Jamar's there, and T's there. You're gonna make it work if those guys are there, maybe, or maybe we look and we're like, that's the moment Erick All was on his way to 600 yards and having an awesome tight end season for the Bengals. Could happen.
I have it bookmarked. When he has the year of his career this year, I'll be going back to that video.
Erick All extension? Coming up a year from now, Erick All extension talks right here on First Word.